man hit the floor. And so I scooted back a little bit more underneath the table, and you could see he was bleeding and he was looking at me. And I just remember watching my father, his hand like come up and then down to hit him. The only reason why I knew it was him is because he had a pinky ring on.
Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Stacks. I'm your host, Bill Stacks, and today I got Rita Gigante. Hello.
Hey,
how are
thanks
you?
for having me, hon. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. I've been anticipating this one for a while.
Awesome.
So for the people that don't know who you are, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Rita Gigante. I am a psychic medium, healer, author, spiritual mentor, and I do teach classes. The daughter of Vincent Gigante and Olympia Gigante. And I wrote a book called The Godfather's Daughter, an unlikely story of love, healing, and redemption. And for those who don't know, my dad was the head of the Genovese crime family and also the head of the commission in Manhattan.
Yeah, so he was a very powerful person.
Very powerful, yes.
So what was your early life like?
It was tough. I mean, we travel, like at 6 months old, we moved out to New Jersey. I was born in Manhattan. 6 months old, we moved out to New Jersey. So I lived half my life in New York City, half my life in New Jersey. And it was tough because Dad only lived with us for about a year. And then he moved back to the city with my grandmother because there was an incident with the police department who said that we were bribing them. All it was we gave them a $50 check for Christmas. That's all it really was. My sister actually brought them the check. It wasn't cash or anything. They made a big deal out of it. They said that, that my dad was trying to corrupt the police and, get stuff that, get something from them that he might want, and which was nonsense. But my dad and my mom got arrested at the time. And once that happened, my dad went back to the city. The charges were dropped by my mom, for my mom. And that was the end of that. He decided he was staying in New York after that. He would come and visit. But
how old were you at that time?
It's only a year and a half when that happened. Yeah.
So what are your earliest memories as a child?
I mean, I remember going back and forth, to the city to see him. But I would have to say the scariest, earliest memory was him, me witnessing a beating that he was giving somebody in my grandmother's apartment underneath her dining room table. It was very, very traumatizing. It left me speechless. And I also pretty much buried that memory till I wrote my book. And then the memory surfaced. But, because I was under the table, nobody saw me. There was music on all the time in my grandmother's house. So there was Italian music on, and it was pretty loud. And you can hear the commotion of what was going on. And then all of a sudden, the man hit the floor. And so I scooted back a little bit more underneath the table. And you could see he was bleeding and he was looking at me. And I just remember watching my father, his hand like come up and then down to hit him. The only reason why I knew it was him is because he had a pinky ring on. Pretty much, shredded the man's face. And I just watched the blood like trickle down to my feet almost. And I was shaking. I was completely frozen at that moment, in the sense that I couldn't scream, I couldn't move, I had my hands over my mouth. And then the last thing he did was step on the man's face, and he said, don't ever fucking disrespect me again. And then he told somebody, get him out of here. And that was it. That was my
Where
first
was
encounter.
his mom at this time?
So my
She-
mom and my grandmother were upstairs in someone else's apartment at the time. I had just kind of scooted out, came down the stairs, and I was just kind of hanging out underneath my grandmother's table playing,
Yeah.
They didn't realize I was there. Nobody did.
So
Because
after
something like that wouldn't happen in front of any of us.
yeah, they tried to keep it separate, right?
Always, always. Yeah. That was
So
the only time I witnessed something like that. I mean, I've witnessed, the people that was in his group, they would come and sit at my grandmother's dining room table all the time, and she would, bring them coffee and some biscuits, whatever she had in the house, cake, and they would be sitting. So it'd be like, again, the radio on, the TV on, watching cartoons, and it was loud, but there was always a whispering going on. So if someone had an issue, they get up, whisper something to him, and he'd whisper back. And then they would either get some type of command to go and do whatever they needed to do, or things were written on pieces of paper and handed back and forth to each other. And when that was done, they would either rip them up and throw them in the toilet, flush it, or they'd burn them. So I was watching this, my whole life, knowing that he was somebody revered, feared, and loved at the same time. But I had no clue, absolutely no clue what he did. I just knew he was important until I was 16.
Is that when you found out that he was
Yeah, that's when
involved
I
with
found
this?
out.
And
Yeah.
what was the reason why you were able to even find out?
Yeah, so there was a rumor going around in school that that's who he was. And, this one girl was calling me a Mafia princess and all this other shit. And I was just like, when you're pissed because someone's talking about your family, right? Then there's the other side of you going, could that be true? So that day that the rumor was like really, really, like, I was hearing it from everyone. This girl was just like relentless. I ended up having a physical encounter with her in the bathroom of the school, and pretty much beat the shit out of her. Just because I was so tired of hearing it. She probably wasn't the only one, saying it, but she was the instigator for most of it.
Yeah.
And I was having a really bad day and kind of snapped. But once I did find out, there was a lot of relief connected to it, because it was like, okay, now I understand why things the way they were, why my mother was the way she was, why there was so many secrets and we couldn't do this and we couldn't do that, or, we had to leave at certain times. Finally, like, all the puzzles started to snap into place, the pieces of the puzzle, So there
Yeah.
was relief, and then there was anxiety over it, because I didn't know if they could come after us, if they would come after him, meaning the FBI, if the other families could hurt us in any way. Once I learned who the other families were and all that kind of stuff, I was stunned to know how powerful he really was, because I saw him as my dad.
Yeah.
So this wasn't like, for me growing up, I want to say, I was a change of life baby. So the sibling above me is 10 years older than me. So I'm witnessing things that, no kid should have to witness, obviously.
Yeah.
But then, knowing not to open your mouth, knowing not to say anything, knowing not to ask questions, it's just kind of how you're raised, because people
Yeah.
say, well, did you ask? Well, the times that I did ask, I got lied to,
So right when you find out, do you have a conversation with your mom or your dad after that?
No, there was no conversation. There was just like, when my mom, knew that I knew, I came home and she just said to me, I'm sorry you had to find out this way, but you know, this is what it is. And you're not to speak about it to anyone ever. And if anyone asks you, your father's sick.
So was he, because a lot of people say he was playing a sick role, playing like he's crazy.
He had a heart condition, so he was sick physically that way. You know, was he feigning insanity? Yes, he was. He was feigning insanity. He was probably one of the smartest men that, you know, walked this earth. Um, he he was a very fair man. He was, how do I want to put this? He could have ran any company, CEO. He could have done anything he wanted to do. But you know, the time that he grew up, there was not much of, unless you went to school and you graduated or your family was in that business, right? Then there
Yeah.
was, he wasn't going to make money, a lot of money any other way other than to probably get involved in something like this. And it was important for him to take care of his family. He loved boxing,
Yeah, that was
which he
one thing.
probably would have, you know, stuck to as part of a career if he could have. But once Vito got a hold of him, Vito Genovese, and Vito loved him. You know, my dad had a very charismatic way about him. So once Vito took him under his wing, and my dad got, you know, he realized the kind of money he could make. He realized the kind of power he could wield. It drew him in. You know, it just drew him in, and then there was still one time I remember him saying to me that he could have gotten out.
Who wants to see part 2 right now? Shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate all you guys. I might as well play part 2 while we're here. I appreciate it. We're celebrating today. Hit 10,000. I appreciate all of you. So I'm going to give you guys part 2 right now. Hit the like button. He got arrested for shooting Frank Costello when he's a young man.
Yes, he did.
Did
Yes,
he
he did.
Did you ever hear about that growing up? Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Stacks. I'm your host, Bill Stacks, and today I got Rita Gigante. Hello.
Hey, he did not. Once he made that decision, he knew he was never getting out. He said, unless it's in a box or he dies in jail.
Because he got arrested for shooting Frank Costello when he's a young man.
Yes, he did. He did.
Did you ever hear about that growing up?
After I found out, yes. Absolutely.
And did you ever hear any law enforcement presence around you, or?
There was never any law enforcement around us. We've never experienced that. Doctors, we've experienced his doctors, whether they were for his physical body or his mental. We've experienced them. They used to come and check on him. He used to check himself into the mental hospital in St. Vincent's, it was called. And anytime he felt the FBI was getting too close, he would check himself in for 3 weeks, and he would play the role brilliantly.
And when he'd come back in the house, would he act normal?
There were times where I could pick out times that he was my dad, and then I could pick out times where he would go from that to back into that like role again, you know. And sometimes it was daily that would happen, you know, meaning he would be one way and then another way. But I got to experience the father, you know, a few times in his life, whereas my brothers and sisters, because they're so much older than me, got to see him very differently. They really reaped the benefit of seeing a father, you know.
Because they're out living their lives, right?
No, it's not even that. He wasn't prominently set in that business until I came along. You know, so when they were little, he was still, you know, he was doing it, but he was coming up. It wasn't like it was when I came. So
Yeah.
he had more time. He had more time for them. They always ate dinner together. They prayed together. I mean, the family would pray the rosary every day together, you know. So he was a very religious man. He would pray 5 rosaries a day.
Would he go to church and things like that?
He would go to church, not always, but he would go. It's my understanding that he liked to go when there was nobody there. You know.
His brother was a priest as well, right?
Yes, my Uncle Lou was a priest. Yep. They've all passed now. He was the last one to go. But yeah, he was a priest, and he built up the Bronx along with my dad's help. Yeah, it was an interesting. Let me put it this way: as hard as it was, and as interesting as it was, I tell people all the time, it's not as interesting as you think. Like, in other words, people are fascinated by the slave. They think, you know, they watch the movies and they think this is like, you know, the best thing since sliced bread until you live it. And then you know the truth.
Yeah, like it's glamorous. They don't
Oh
really
God,
see.
I know. They think all of that. Yeah. And it's not. At least in my world, it was not. My mother wasn't even that type of person at all. She was very, very low key, very, you know, she would go out and buy costume jewelry at Macy's, and people would think it was real just because it was her.
Because she was who she was, yeah.
You know, so we'd laugh about it. We'd be like, if they only knew it cost like $30. You know, it's not that she didn't have nice jewelry. She did. He got her nice jewelry, but she actually preferred the costume, and she would only wear that other jewelry if she was going to a wedding or an event, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so.
What kind of birthday presents and Christmas presents would he buy you?
Oh God, I got everything from a bicycle to drum set to dolls, which I hated. You know, all things that kids ask for, and get a skateboard, whatever I wanted. A lot of times I didn't even have to ask for anything. It would just be kind of 1,000 gifts underneath the tree.
And would his
You know?
friends shower you with gifts all the time when they would be around?
Usually his friends would give money in an envelope, or like what do you call those things? Bonds, you know, like
Yeah.
what you can give someone that would mature over time. Like I remember having a lot of those. I paid for college with those, to be honest with you. So yeah, they would, but it was mostly money, not physical stuff.
Yeah.
But like for the holidays, they would come with baskets, you know, baskets of food or fruit or things like that, and they give it to my grandmother and my mother. So, or chocolates, whatever it was.
So after you found out that he was involved with that life, what was the conversation, or how did you find out that he was arrested for shooting Frank Costello?
I would have conversations then with, you know, my sisters or my mom, or I would even read up on some stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much how it went.
So where did your life take you from there? You're 16, you're in school, you find out that your dad's a part of this life, and where does your life take you from there?
Honestly, you know, I graduate high school, I get a job, which it was an office job I stayed at for a while. And then I had a lot of odd jobs that I did. You know, I worked in many different places part-time just to make some money, figure out what I wanted to do. I had no idea. Um, at the age of 24, my dad offered to send me to Brooklyn to this man who owned a balloon business. And I thought it was, wow, okay, I'll go learn. You know, I was willing to do anything because I didn't know what I wanted. And so I went and I learned the whole business, and I opened up my own business, and it was doing really well for, in other words, on my own for me. But he had promised me certain things that never came to fruition because he would not follow through with it, because he did not want me to make the money that I could have made doing that, because then it might have taken me away from my mother, which in his mind was supposed to be taken care of by me until she passed.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we had a thing with the Marina Del Rey where I was supposed to go do a lot of business there. And until I found out that that wasn't true.
So what was it? Birthday balloons? Like,
Yeah, birthday, any kind of occasion. Any kind of an occasion you can imagine. You see the balloons, you know, you'll see that stuff all over the place. Sometimes they're centerpieces, sometimes they're like half moons.
yeah.
You know, I enjoyed it. I really did. I loved it, and did a lot of kids' parties. But a lot of the things I did, I got on my own. The Marina Del Rey was supposed to be like the cherry on top of the cake. It was supposed to, you know, and then the rest was you know, for me to do, and I was fine with that. But I knew that that was never going to happen when I found out that that's not really what, you know. It was like, yeah, go, he's going to give it to you, but then he got told, no, you're not going to give her anything. So I did a couple of parties there, and then I said to him, not really enjoying this any longer.
Do you think it was a control thing?
Yeah, of course. Of course. Absolutely. Which kind of, you know, pushed me then to become, you know, go to massage school, right? I didn't finish college yet, but I went to massage school, and I became a massage therapist. I started working out with a personal trainer, and I realized how much I was truly like connected to the body. So I learned everything you can imagine about the body. And that's how I realized I was a healer, because in massage school, I was able to put my hands on people and actually feel their energy and know what was going on in the body, and then be able to help them.
When was the first time you figured out that you had this gift?
I know I was born with the gift, but I didn't understand the gift till I was in my 20s, early to mid 20s. So the gift was there all along. It's just because of the amount of craziness that was going on in my home, and you know, there was always a lot of drama. It felt like, you know, so I could not really hone and understand those abilities. Plus, my family had no idea like what that was. They wouldn't even know where to send me to, you know, figure that out. Nobody believed at that time. Nobody believed in going to see a talk therapist or anything. I put myself in therapy.
Yeah, back then it was like quackery and all this, right? They would think you're crazy thinking like that, and
yeah,
go to church. It'll fix you, right?
Exactly. Well, I started to lose my faith in the Catholic religion because of all the, I want to say, fear it put in people, and you know, I just didn't believe a lot of the stuff that they promoted. You know, so I became very spiritual. I took from that religion what felt comfortable to me, which was the angels, Jesus, Mary, Holy Spirit. You know, but when I do my work, I could connect to anybody. If Buddha came in, I could connect to Buddha. You know what I mean? So, and interestingly enough, I was told by them that we are not of any religious sect. You know, we are energy.
What's good, everybody? Thank you guys for watching. There's a lot more to come. It's 7 more parts to it. I think there's 7 more parts to it. So there's a lot of information. Thank you all for watching. I really appreciate you. Hey, Fuzzy Buckets. What do we got here? Here, I think. Yeah, we got one, folks. There we go. There. But he didn't interview her. I did. Okay. So enjoy your time down the bowl. Appreciate you. I appreciate everyone. I really do. Even the haters, because you guys really pushed me to get where I am now. There's big things on the horizon. I'm just getting started. You guys have no clue of what's in store. It's gonna be really good. Things are getting better and better, and I'm striving for greatness. I know I ain't perfect, but I'm gonna continue to do my best, and I won't give up. You guys will see. I'm gonna keep going. Big things on the horizon, and nobody's gonna stop me. I know it bothers some people, but hey, that's too bad. I don't know what to tell you. 10K, that's right, Sonny. 10K. I really appreciate all of you that subscribed and that have been with me over the last 3 years. It's been a long ride, but we made it to 10K. And that's just the first. I was surprised when I got 1,000. Like, I was shocked when I was able to do something with this, and it's continuing to grow. We don't buy bots over here. We don't buy any of that shit. This is fully organic from day one, and it's going to continue to stay that way. And I got appreciation for all of you guys, even the haters. I appreciate all you. So I hope you guys have a great night. There's a lot more content on the way. I'm going to drop another video tonight. Might as well. I got so much content for you guys. So, Joy, how are you? Thank you so much. Gianni, Mob Rats, Dustin, Sonny Grasso. Go check out Sonny Grasso, the Song Father, Mickey Griggs, Dave from Boston, Roscoe. We got a lot of people in the house. Keeps growing and growing. Darren. I can't wait to show you guys what I've been working on. I have a bunch of events lined up, and I'll probably go live from there. But I got something really big, and you guys will see tomorrow. I'll tell you what it is after I'm done. That's usually how it goes. So what's going on tonight? It's beautiful, beautiful out. It was a little stormy this morning, but it really is getting nice. Sonny, I sent you the link if you want to come on here for a little bit, for a couple minutes. Hopefully, Ric Flair takes his medicine and chills out with the drinking. It's never good for anyone to drink a lot. Only bad things transpire when you drink like that. I have tons of interviews lined up. Well, they're already done. I just have to drop them. I have Anthony. Shout out to Anthony Vallone. I got his interview. It's really good. Tells a bunch of crazy stories. I got the Albanian mob. I got the Pink Panther. Shout out to the Pink Panther Punch. I appreciate you. Shout out to Pedge Tattoos. I got Liam, part 2, the guy who got violated his probation for messaging Joey Merlino. Maybe I'll drop part 2 tonight. I can do that. Still got more from Vinny from South Philly. You know what else I got? You guys remember when I interviewed Barberi, right? Shout out to Sugar Bear Barberi. So I have the footage of Sugar Bear Barberi at Ray Liotta's house. So I'll be uploading that too. Rita is great. I'm glad you got her on. I knew her uncle Mario and her brother way back in the day. Good people. How many parts are there in this interview? 8. 8 or 9. There's a lot. And I only played 2, so there's a lot more on the way. Yes, 7 more parts, Roscoe. I'd love to be on the Florida. I know. I'll be on the Florida beach soon. Very soon. I got to make my rounds down there in Florida. And I will be there shortly. Like very shortly. Yeah, he messaged him on Instagram. That's how he got violated. So he was dealing with the probation officer and then kept messing with him, violating him. And they kept bringing him in and out of prison. They ended up searching his house one day. He lived with his mother. They searched his mom's house, right? And they found her legal firearm. And they charged her with as an unindicted co-conspirator, indicted him, arrested him again, and they put a restraining order with him and his mom. So he couldn't even go back to his house. So after that, he was trying to go back to college and finish his law degree. And he was at college and they told him he cannot be in this college anymore because of his criminal record. So he started protesting, like handing out cards and signs all at the campus. People at the campus got mad. They called his probation. He messaged Merlino on Instagram. And because of that, they put a tracker on his phone and they seen all his messages and they violated his probation for it. They said he was in contact with the alleged boss of Philadelphia and they violated him. Insane. But you guys will see that. I'm going to drop it tonight. So stay tuned for that. It'll probably be out around 10. All he wanted was some advice. Yeah. Had nothing to do with nothing. Like, it is wild. What kind of BS is that? It's some Delaware BS. That's what it is. Delaware. I guess Delaware is very strict when it comes to guns. So he had a legal firearm, right? And he had a carry permit, like where you can have it out. Like people have to see it. So the cops seen him, he had a gun. They pulled him over and they just wrote in the report that it was concealed. What? It doesn't even make sense. Let me know when you're shaking down in Florida. Enjoy your travels. Thank you. I will be down there very shortly. Definitely by the end of this month, I'll be there. 100%. If you guys haven't seen the pictures of the Chicago boss, Joey Ayupa, go check out the community tab. I'm going to show you the pictures now. Some really good pictures of Ayupa. People always got to message me right when I'm on here. This is a good one. Look at this one. You got to rewind it, man. The interview finished. And if you want to see the whole thing, join the membership. Damn, I gotta shut that off because it ain't gonna stop. I got a bunch of spots to go to in Florida. So check these pictures out. They're really cool. That's Ayupa on the left. And the guy on the right, his name is allegedly Pepsi. Joey Ayupa. The guy in the back right there on the right, those two Spanish guys are tour guides. The guy in the right in the back is Michael Spilotro, Tony Spilotro's brother. Some of the other people in the picture, it's Ed Hale. The other guy, Pepsi, Ayupa, and another guy named Sandy Velope is a lawyer. So there's Michael Spilotro, Joey Ayupa. There's Ayupa, a guy named Pepsi. All the Hispanic guys are the tour guides. There's Ed Hale. And then there is Sandy Velope. Heavy hitters in the Chicago outfit. And I'll have more pictures on the way. No, that's not Vietnam. That's in Stags. Is the Beehive Stadium still in Bristol? No. So there's Muzzy Field is in Bristol, Connecticut. They have I think that's in New Britain. Yeah, you missed two parts. Yeah, I dropped two parts, Ronan, of the interview. So just rewind it back a little bit and you'll see it. There's a lot more on the way. I told you guys I'm just getting started. So stay tuned. I'll drop part 3 tomorrow. And today I made they did a video for promotion with Katharina Michio and everyone that was at that party, and I made the video. They put me in the video. That's a pretty cool thing. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know where it went. But the subscribers keep growing and growing. And I can't wait to show you guys what everything. Yes, Stacks in New Britain. Yeah, the B thing is in New Britain, right? Play it, show the chat. I don't know where it went, man. Oh, wait. I know where it is. Hold on. All right, it's right here. Yeah, I can't play it, man. Hold on, maybe I could do this. Yeah, I can't do this. Right here. Shout out to Shelly Stelmick. You guys can see that, right? Hey, that guy looks familiar, don't he? Boom. Hey, who's that? That guy looks familiar. A lot more on the way, so stay tuned. Things are getting real. And if you guys like this content, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Make sure you check out the Patreon. There's a lot of great content over there. I'll drop the link for you. People have been joining, like it's a steady flow of people, and I appreciate all of you that join. I got tons of interviews dropping. Hell yeah, I'll be at 15,000 before you know it. 100,000 is my goal. And then from there, we're off to 1 million, and it will happen. Trust. You got to believe in yourself. But I hope you guys all have a great night. If you like this content, hit the like button, subscribe. If you want to donate, hit up Cash App at Chatting with Stacks. And if you want to be a guest on my show, just hit up the email at BillStacks2021 and I'll get you a slot. I appreciate all you guys. I hope you have a great night. And remember, don't be a bitch. Peace.
And all new at 5, a major organized crime bust. 23 people under arrest now accused of stealing guns and cash.
Today, police revealed 4 organized crime groups are wreaking havoc.
From aggravated robbery to kidnapping, burglary, and more. Take a look at this. New pictures from court documents in this case. These are a few of the people who have been charged. And investigators say the money, tens of thousands of dollars, is all stolen.